I will tell you right now, it's really hard to be a Christian in America. It's hard because we are surrounded by a bunch of rich people. And you may think, well, I'm not rich. And you may think, oh, the people around me aren't necessarily rich. They're kind of struggling too. The fact of the matter is, we are very rich here in America. We just don't realize it. We don't realize that the fact that we have a toilet, the fact that we have carpet in our apartments or our houses, the fact that we can have water hitting us for 10 minutes straight, right? Potable water that people would die to drink, hitting us for 10 minutes straight. And then we just, we soap in it, we spend time in it, we think. These are luxuries that we have no idea how. I mean, people even in the 18th century or even early 19th centuries would die for, right? This kind of luxury. We have food 3 times a day, sometimes 4 or 5. We have snacks, right? We have storage. I'm telling you, we are extremely rich here in America, but it's still so hard to be content. I'm not talking like as a person who's saying I don't struggle with this, because I struggle with being content. Even though, I have been poor. I've been genuinely poor. I had, the lights turned off on me. I had water turned off on me because I wouldn't pay the water bill. And, but I've also been rich. I've had a lot of money. And I'm telling you, the game does not end. You still feel like you don't have enough. You never feel like you have enough. You start comparing. And this is the world we live in, right? We're looking at social media, we're scrolling and we're seeing all of these. And who's on social media? Who has the money to do the editing? Who has the money to make a lot of this content? It's a lot of these people are, rich, and they're trying to expose their beautiful lifestyle with all the pretty girls and the cars, and they talk with such confidence and they seem so happy. But in the Christian in this book, it doesn't talk about being content and being happy because of stuff that you have. Despite the stuff that you have, you should be happy. You should be joyful with the Lord. You should be content. In 1 Corinthians 3, it says, I give you milk, not solid food, for you are not ready for it. Indeed, you are still not ready. You are still worldly. For since there is jealousy and quarreling among you, are you not worldly? Are you not acting like mere humans? I'm telling you guys, we're constantly comparing. And that's really where the discontentment is. We're comparing, right? It's like, even though we have the showers, even though we have food, even though we have cars, which is crazy luxurious, we look at our friends, we look at the people around us, we look at social media, and we're immediately sad because they have more and we don't. And if you go to places like the Philippines, right? I went to the Philippines. I went to a very remote island, and guys, we brought them rice and mango trees, and they were ecstatic with the rice and the mango trees. Okay, when you saw their faces, they weren't unhappy. They weren't, just sad. And I know that the commercial or whatever, the commercials for raising money for some of these kids, they may seem really sad, but a lot of them are actually happier than us. Okay, and it's because they just don't have that looking around, the keep up with the Joneses mindset. They are just happy with what they have, right? The fact that they were able to eat and survive. And so I will say that, what I want to encourage is that, there's a couple of things I want to encourage. Number one is that we have to be content, to thank God. I did a whole Bible study on this, but really, we have to remember to thank God for all the things that we do have. If you believe that you don't have things to thank God about, you have the wrong mindset. And I want to be very clear on this. You have the wrong mindset. If you're here in America, and I know things may suck, okay? There may be horrible situations. Someone died, next to you. There's some incredible injustices happening to you. And those are the things that you should bring to God, but there's also things that you should be grateful for, despite all of these bad circumstances that you're dealing with. We have to be grateful, be content with what you have. Thank God for what you do have, not just complain about what you don't have. Okay. And then the other thing is, even whatever circumstances we are, we should continue to ask because God encourages us to ask. Ask and you'll receive. Okay, so have faith. When you ask, don't just ask generic prayers, ask specifically and ask as if it has already happened. Ask, pray with real faith. Thank God for things that are yet unseen, right? This is a Youngie Cho thing. If you don't know Youngie Cho, he's the pastor of the largest church in the world, okay? And he changed my whole mindset about prayer and how a lot of people just pray, oh, Lord, please heal this person, or Lord, I pray for a spouse. Generic prayers. But he prays, he thanks God, and he imagines that he already received the things that he prays for, right? And he thanks God for it. So I would just say that, even though we ought to be content, also pray. Pray specifically, pray earnestly, pray constantly. Because remember that verse about, how after the asking you will receive verse, there's a neighbor that constantly knocks. And it's like because of his, I believe that impudence, right? His persistence, that's why the neighbor opened the door to him. And we also have to be persistent with God. God likes persistent because that's faith. A lot of people give up because they're like, oh, the prayers didn't get answered. That's not it. You got to have faith. Faith is continuing and praying and asking. And I honestly believe you will receive. And I'll tell you, in my life, it has manifested in receiving. I have gotten that part down. I honestly have prayed so many. I'm not a Joel Osteen fan, okay? Like I'm not like a prosperity gospel person, but I do believe in the power of prayer. And I do believe that a lot of the prayer nowadays is very weak because we don't pray with real faith. We just pray, like, oh, just a nice thing to say to God. No, pray as if you will actually receive. Because I've seen people who live like that, who believe like that, and I've seen it manifest in amazing ways, guys. And I've seen it in my own life. What I struggle with is the contentment of things, right? To be content, to be happy with what I have, and not complaining. I can ask, but it shouldn't come from a heart of complaining, especially when you're here in America, guys. I am telling you, we are so rich. You don't have to have a mortgage to be rich. You don't have to have a car to be rich. You are rich because you're in America, because you have freedoms and opportunities that other people don't, because you could eat 3 meals a day, because you can, take a shower for over 5 to 10 minutes in warm, heated water. Okay? These are incredible, incredible luxuries. So that's my encouragement, guys. Just contentment. I'm really working on it, guys, even for myself. And I'm telling you, it doesn't end. Even if you get what you wanted, it won't end. That desire will still be there. That temptation will still be there. So it's an insatiable thirst. Get that thirst quenched from God and God only. Be happy. Be grateful. That's my encouragement. All right. I'll see you guys later.